is BBC World, putting news first. 200 people feared dead as a plane crashes into a fuel depot in Brazil. Undermining the mission, British MPs accuse NATO allies of failing to commit sufficient troops to the world today. From BBC News, I'm Martine Dennis.
And I'm Sally Eden. And coming up later in World Business Report, News Corp clears a major hurdle in its battle for Dow Jones as its board recommends Rupert Murdoch's $5 billion bid.
An airliner carrying at least 170 passengers and crew has crashed whilst landing in the Brazilian city of Sao Paulo. Many people are feared to have died. At the moment, there's no actual confirmation on the number of people, but officials are saying that there are unlikely to be any survivors. At the scene of the crash now is our correspondent Gary Duffy. He joins us live. Gary, what can you see?
Well, it's still a very grim scene here, I have to say. There's still black choking smoke trailing off into the night sky. It's well after midnight here and dark, and the rescue services are continuing a grim and difficult task of trying to retrieve any bodies from the wreckage. I have to say the building where the aircraft struck seems an absolute shambles. People who were here in the immediate aftermath of the accident said that virtually the entire aircraft went into the building and only the tail could be seen sticking out at the end of the building. And there were some explosions as well, and I think with aircraft fuel it's a terrible mess down there in very difficult conditions.
So it seems as though the emergency workers' first priority is to try to put out that blaze.
Yes, and that effort is continuing. They've been using elevated hydraulic ladders and pouring water onto the building. The task was made more difficult. There was a partial collapse of part of the building. There was also a petrol station alongside it, and I think there was an explosion there. So a very difficult task. And what is a built-up area? Congonhas Airport, the busiest airport in Latin America, is right in the heart of Sao Paulo and surrounded by buildings, offices and residential homes.
And there have been concerns for some time now about the length of the runway.
Well, concerned generally about the safety at Congonhas, and particularly the safety on days when there's been rain, and there had been rain yesterday on the day of the accident. And there was an incident 24 hours earlier when a plane skidded off the runway, a smaller plane with 21 people on board. No one was hurt. There was an incident in October where a plane skidded as well. And in February, a judge briefly banned flights in and out of the airport on safety grounds. Now, there was some repair work done on this runway, and there is some concern and some reports in the local media tonight that not all of that work was completed, and I think questions will be asked about that.
And this is likely to be Brazil's worst aviation accident.
Yes, the country and its air industry is still recovering from the shockwaves of the crash last year when 154 people were killed when a airliner struck an executive jet and over the Amazon and crashed there, and that has caused enormous problems for the air industry here in Brazil, and lots of delays and concern among air traffic controllers, and I think there's likely to be a lot of reverberations over this one as well.
Gary, for now, thank you. The campaign to stabilise Afghanistan will fail.